Ladies and gentlemen, these tips are becoming later and later and later, but I will always try and get you these tips as quickly as I possibly can, man. The timing of everything so far, it's getting later towards the end of the year, man. We've got uni and everything, it's coming all together, but I know you guys don't care about that. Let's talk about the AFL. Let's talk about round 17. Let's do it. What's up, everybody? It's the Aidan Sports Show. Welcome back to another video. Today we've got the round 17 tips for the AFL, where we go through every single game that will happen in round 17 of the AFL and give my honest and true predictions for the games as we head into a very, very, very difficult time for some teams. Again, this is crunch time. This is where things get tough. This is where the weak become the strong, and this is where the strong could potentially fall. So before we get started, please like and subscribe to the Aidan Sports Show YouTube channel, turn notifications on, and let me know in the comments below which team do you think will win in your game of the AFL. There should be no buys in this round, so every team will play. If your team is playing, let me know in the comments below if your team will win and where do you think your team will end up finishing on the ladder as we go through some of the toughest tests in the AFL. So as per usual, from last video to this video of the AFL, I did not make an AFL results video because there's not enough time for me to go and make both two videos. It just has been so hectic for me recently. So I still want to give my AFL tips. I feel like that is the more important video and I have to prioritize sometimes. But I do want to talk about the AFL results in a little small section. So this week I ended up getting 6 right and 3 wrong. The 3 games I got wrong was the Western Bulldogs and West Coast game, which was a very, very, very good game to watch. And Bulldogs ended up taking the victory. Melbourne and Fremantle, very, very good game as well, if I do say so myself. Very low scoring, but the conditions of the game really, really played a factor. And obviously Adelaide and the Giants, with Adelaide picking up a monstrous victory over the Giants. Now, my season's total will be at the bottom of the screen right now. Still pretty decent, I must say. I'm very ashamed that I got 3 wrong, but they were very, very surprising games, so I can't really be too mad at that. Time to go to the winners and the losers of the week, and I'm going to do it a little bit differently now. I'm not going to go based on who had the best games, but actually who had the most important victories and the most important losses. So this might be very controversial, but I'm going to give the Western Bulldogs the winners of the week, as now because of the Giants and Melbourne's losses, they have secured their place back in the top 8, where they seem one of the teams that were least likely to do it in a very, very good win over West Coast. I think they are the only team that deserves the winners of the round for this week. Truly inspirational how they've managed to keep their season alive by beating a team that no one expected them to beat. And the losers of the week, despite GWS losing to Adelaide, which is hilarious in my opinion, I'm going to give it to Melbourne because they've lost 2 weeks in a row to 2 very poor sides, and we lost comfortably on both sides. So Melbourne definitely deserved the losers of the week. Again, I'm wearing the hat. I don't know why. They don't deserve me wearing the hat. But yeah, they were terrible, to be honest. So that is my losers of the round. And let's see who can pick it up. Now let's go to the round 17 of the AFL. We're going to start things off with St Kilda and West Coast. West Coast came off a very, very rough loss against the Western Bulldogs in a game where you expected them to win. Again, it's not in Perth, so maybe that is going to be the struggle, traveling all over again, and that could potentially end up costing them. Now, the St Kilda I believe they got their victory last week. They played fairly well. It was a good game to watch. This is going to be a little bit interesting, a little bit difficult, but I do think no matter which team really wins, it won't really matter. It looks like both of them are going to be safe, but I think St Kilda have to win this game, and I will back St Kilda here. Actually, no, I'm going to pick St Kilda. Look, I really don't think West Coast do well outside of Perth. And I'm not sure why, but against teams that they don't play in Perth, they just don't seem to perform well. That could be a very, very, very telling thing coming towards the last game and towards the finals, where if they don't play in Perth, then they could be in serious jeopardy. I do think the Saints need this more, and I do think they'll come out firing. That's going to be very interesting. I will pick the Saints in this game. Next up, we've got Geelong and Richmond. Now, before I actually give my prediction on this game, I do want to talk about Richmond because they have had two of their players outside of a club. I'm not going to go into too much details of what the club is and what they were doing, but basically they got caught breaking the protocols of the AFL in this difficult time, and it looks like they will not be taking part for the rest of the season. That could dampen their season a lot, and they're going to be facing a Geelong side that have been so great for the past few months, and they're really making themselves a contender. I think Richmond will come out of this game extremely flat just because of that entire situation. I am going to go and pick Geelong in this game. I really feel for Richmond fans and a lot of the Richmond players that actually had to suffer from just two people being ridiculous. And honestly, Richmond fans don't deserve that. A lot of the Richmond players don't deserve that. But the fact is, I bet a lot of these players have done the exact same thing but have not gotten caught. In this situation, Richmond players have gotten caught, and once again, their name and their face and their brand is being put through the mud because of players just doing what they're not supposed to do. So again, I'm not going to go in on any more than on Richmond, but I truly think that this is an unacceptable behaviour for such a top club, and in the end I think they will end up paying for that down the line. Next up, we've got North Melbourne and Fremantle, two of the lower tier sides. Fremantle are actually looking to get yet another win in their bag and make it tally. They could definitely be finishing very, very close to the mid-table teams. Maybe not get to the exact place where the teams like Melbourne are or anything like that, but definitely with a victory over Melbourne, they are looking the more comfortable side to pick against North Melbourne. I am going to back Fremantle. I found it very interesting that they played Jesse Hogan last week, and I'm hoping that Jesse Hogan can revive his career because it looks like he's basically going to be on the verge of exiting the AFL. This is going to be his time, and he played good against Melbourne. I hope he does the same here. Fremantle are a great team, to be honest. They absolutely picked Melbourne apart, and there's nothing but respect for that team. I've always liked the way that they've played, and they really took it to us, and in the end, I do think they will win this game as well. Next up, we've got Port Adelaide versus Essendon. Fairly straightforward for this one. I think Essendon are going to be out of the finals race after this game. Definitely should be already out now. If you're looking at the actual betting odds for this, Essendon are at $6.50. I think that's the highest I've seen for a team. So they are clearly, I don't think anyone has picked them, so I am going to pick Port. Again, that's fairly simple. I'm not really sure what else to say in that matter, but you got to think that Essendon are out now. I thought they were already out after this round, but just in case if they're not, they will be out by this round for sure. Don't think there's there's no coming back from that. Next up, and this could be the most important game of the round as two teams are trying to get their spot in the 8 and save their season. We've got the GWS Giants versus the Melbourne Demons. Basically, the winner will give themselves the ultimate opportunity at making the 8 if a Collingwood or even a Western Bulldogs do drop out. Now, it's very unlikely because Bulldogs do have the easiest drive towards the top 8 at the moment, but you have to think that the winner of this game will give themselves that opportunity, and I think an opportunity is all that they need. Now, both teams have had absolute mares of a round last week. GWS losing to an Adelaide side that's only had one win, and now they have two, was absolutely poor, and they were far and away the worst team in that game. Melbourne got outplayed in every single facet by Fremantle, from the midfield to the back line to the forward line, was dominated across the park. Not really many positives to take out of that game as well. Melbourne also did lose to Sydney, and Sydney were a team that was in form at the time, but again, Melbourne really needed to win those two games, and they've made their season so much more difficult. Now, in the end, who will win this game? I truly do not have a clue, but just by watching the way that Melbourne have performed over the past 2 weeks alone, I will back the GWS Giants here because I know Melbourne are inconsistent, and I do think that they've had a good run of form, but their form is running out, and we've started to see the good old mistakes that you always see out of Melbourne, the choking of games, the not getting it into the forward line, not creating opportunities. Yes, we have a great midfield, our defense is carrying, but at the end of the day, if you can't score goals, if you can't create opportunities, you will never win games, and I don't see GWS having that problem. So we're going to have to wait and see. Melbourne have beaten good teams like St Kilda in a very tight situation, so I'm not going to put it past them to beat the Giants. In fact, I will walk into this game confident enough to know that we can, but I do think GWS will be the favourites, and I am going to back the Giants in this game. If I'm proven wrong, I'll be happy because that is a chance that Melbourne can have to reach the 8. Next up, we've got Carlton and Adelaide. Pretty straightforward, this one, to be honest. I know Adelaide have been in good run of form, but I do think Carlton will win this game. Unless Adelaide have just figured out what it's like to win and they want to keep on doing it. Of course, all it takes is one, and then the rest could keep on flowing. And that could really be a positive end towards Adelaide's season, who look like they will finish last. So a win here will actually do wonders for their confidence going into the season next year, where they feel like they could beat good teams. I mean, Giants is a tremendous win, and they do deserve a lot of respect for that. Next up, Hawthorn versus the Western Bulldogs. It's pretty straightforward for me, this one as well. I'm going to back the Western Bulldogs. Again, in the 8s, they're fighting for their season. Again, they always seem to get it together late, and this is the latest as it can come, and they're in the 8 at the moment, and they need to keep their spot there. If they could beat this team, they've got Fremantle next week, I believe, and that will be their biggest test. If Fremantle do win, they will fall most likely. So this is the game where they cannot screw it up. If they screw it up, they make it 10 times harder for themselves, and I don't think that they will. I think Hawthorn have been really, really poor, and they will reflect it in this game as well. Sydney versus Brisbane Lions is next. I'm going to back the Lions. Sydney could end up pulling an upset. They've been in decent form, but in the end, Brisbane are the better team. They end up winning close games where they're not performing well, so you can't expect anything less from a team like the Brisbane Lions. They should win. They will win. I will pick the Brisbane Lions. Last but not least, Collingwood versus the Gold Coast Suns. Collingwood have got a lot of their players back now. Jeremy Howe is actually expected to be back in this game, so very interesting. They should win this comfortably, to be honest. It looks like they've saved their season. They've held out. They've got the wins necessary to keep themselves alive in this season, and now they're going to reap the benefits of having a lot of their players back. So fair play. Collingwood fans should be extremely ecstatic to know they will be playing finals footy. They will have a chance to win the grand final. They were the comfortable favourites for a lot of the teams at the start of the season, and towards the end they could be fighting for a place in that premiership. And it could happen, it could not happen. They're not in the best situation, but all is needed is a chance, and I think they've basically guaranteed their chance if they win this game. So that is going to be the end of this AFL predictions video. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Thank you guys for watching. Have a wonderful and safe day. I'll see you guys in round 18, the final round of the AFL. Have a wonderful day. Take care.